So, a little backstory to start. I live in a flat with only one neighbour above me. I have a son who is from a previous relationship that also lives with me, along with my wife. So, this started a few years back, in 2013, when we first moved into this flat. Everything went well. We were happy to have our own home. We were really friendly with the neighbours, especially the neighbour that lived above us. We were fine for the first year or so. She was an old lady, in her late 50s. As a young couple, aged in our early 20s, it was nice to have someone who was so nice when we first moved in. We were approached within the first few weeks by other neighbours explaining how she was a little weird. Stories including vandalising the previous tenant's car and throwing paint on the door. These even went as far as giving full bottles of vodka to an alcoholic that lived on our street because whenever he drank, he got violent. This creeped us out a little, but she seemed so opposite of what we knew of her. We had been all right with each other for months. That's when things took a turn. We got a knock on the door from the police, stating we had been abusing my son. I was shocked. He was around 2 at this age, and was as happy as could be. I remember letting the police officer in, and he came in. Seeing my son playing with his blocks in the living room, the police officer rolled his eyes to apologise to me, and then left. We spoke to the neighbour upstairs about it, and she seemed to suggest it was another neighbour, as she overheard them speaking about it. Thinking it was no good to dwell on it, we left it, and nothing happened for a few weeks. A few weeks later, my son's mother came around and was rather distressed. She showed me some messages she got on Facebook from someone called John Smith. They explained they worked at the nursery my son attended and were concerned about my son, going into a lot of detail of how late at night we used to shout at him and abuse him. I flipped and even gave her a copy of the recordings on my son's baby monitor. See, since the last time we were accused of anything, we installed a baby monitor that stored the last 7 days onto a server I have. This linked to my mobile. Perhaps due to my paranoia after hearing all the kidnappings that can happen. The funny thing that made no sense was that in the message it had my full address, me and my wife's full names and details of our house, even about the background that I had on my computer, which was a payday background, but was explained as a scary mask on my computer. It made no sense at all. The only person in my house was the neighbour upstairs, and my parents. I didn't like people within my space, and she used to come around and use our bathroom and showers, as her bathroom was being converted into a wet room. Later on, I got a phone call from the neighbour and said that some white nationalists were trying to find me. Now, I'm half Indian. Apparently, I said something that they didn't like, and they had come to batter me. She explained what they looked like, and that they had leather gloves, but she lied and said that I didn't live there. I phoned the police, and we were on a watch list due to the threats. All passed to me from her upstairs and no one else. She was interviewed by the police and denied any of it ever happening, and she said that I was on drugs. Now, I have not touched drugs in years, and even then, it was only a bit of cannabis. Things got a bit weird, and she had her son starting to live with her. One evening, we were playing D&D, and around 9:30 p.m, we got a few texts from her explaining that she wanted quiet or else. Things had been slowly escalating up until this point. I replied, "Go away, it's 9:30 and we finish at 11. I wouldn't have minded, but this had been a regular occurrence for a few weeks. We played on Saturday night, and this had not been a problem for the year or so we had been doing it. Things escalated further. She started banging on the floor, put the vacuum on, and threatened to send her son down to come and do me in. I confronted him the next day about this, and he denied everything and said that his mum was a bit sensitive. Turns out, she has bipolar. This all makes sense now, from poisoning my plants and lawn to threatening me with her sons. She has now left and has a for sale sign on her flat that explains why the house was so cheap when we got it. So, sociopath neighbour, please don't move back in. I now know some people just want to watch the world burn." Hello everyone, SinisterShaf here. This story was Creepy Neighbour Upstairs by Lord Trancer. Thank you for letting me narrate your story. If you enjoyed the video, then please like and subscribe if you have not done so already. Also, if you can, share this video with your friends. Thank you for watching, and as always, stay sinister.